Are we live?
We're live.
We're live. Okay,
We're live.
I was rocking out. I love that intro. I'm like, I want mine redone because I'm back here like, yeah, that's the way to start a show.
We know
Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Tim and Jim Show. I am Tim Sohn with Sohn Social Media Solutions here in Northeast Pennsylvania with the Bears and the Turkeys, and I'm delighted to be here as usual with my friend and co-host, Jim Fuse. Boop. Take it away, Mr. Jim.
Great to see you guys. I'm actually in a new location for today. I'm in Rich Hart Global Studios here in Atlanta. It's a great place. You can do hybrid events here. So Mary, if you want to fly in and be on a stage and multi-stream, come on out. We got a place for you. I'm in the podcast studio going live. So
You're very fancy today. I'm
Very
like,
fancy.
I didn't realize how fancy. I was like, I hope my office is up to par for you guys.
So yes, I got out of my basement for a day. I'll probably have to go back.
Back into the dungeon.
Back to the dungeon.
Awesome.
But yeah,
Are we ready? Yeah.
We've
go
got
ahead, Jim.
Mary, the LinkedIn bakery, Mary Fain, Brandt. You know, we got to know each other over the past couple of years. Got to hang out a little bit in person.
In person is always good,
yes,
right?
In person, always good. And we've actually had a couple one-on-one Zoom calls, which have been really good. I've enjoyed that. Learned a lot from Mary, and we're all going to learn a lot today because we're going to be talking about LinkedIn, which I think if you're in business, you're not on LinkedIn, you got issues.
I couldn't have said it better. I love it.
That's true. So Mary, so tell us a bit about yourself. I know you work both in the LinkedIn world and in remote live producing. So tell us a bit about your background, what you do.
Yeah, we've had a few conversations as well, Tim. So hi, everyone. I am so excited to be finally on the Tim and Jim Show. It's not that they didn't ask me. It was like scheduling stuff. But it's been, oh, hey, Linda. It's been a journey getting here. So I have Mary Fain Brandt Coaching and Consulting, which is the career aspect of my business. And what happened was every one of my career clients needed help with LinkedIn because they either did not have LinkedIn or they had a really bad one. And so I kind of dove into the world of LinkedIn and went through some online training and mentors. Like TR Garland was one of the first persons that I worked with. And I learned all about LinkedIn. And then I was like, wait a minute, entrepreneurs could be here and it doesn't cost anything. Why aren't we on there? Because this is way back, right? Like 2015, 2016. And so I was like, wait a minute, all my entrepreneur friends, they need to understand LinkedIn. And back then, let's be real, I always called it when I would do a talk, LinkedIn, the ugly duckling of the social media platforms. But now it's blown into this beautiful swan with all new features and functionality. But it was clunky when I started and people didn't like it. And I'm kind of laughing now, you guys, because now everybody loves LinkedIn and they're like, oh crap, I need to get there. Mary. So I get like, hey, Mary, can I get a strategy session? Hey, Mary, can you help me with this? Because they realize LinkedIn is the cool platform to be on, especially if you're a business owner. It's the social media platform for business professionals. It's also really the only platform that you can reach out directly to CEOs, presidents, vice presidents. Like you don't do that on Instagram. But on LinkedIn, right, you can reach directly to the owner of the company or the CEO or the president.
Yeah, we can't do that on Facebook?
No. Because they're usually not on Facebook on that high level, and every platform has its place. Don't get me wrong. I use different platforms for different things, as I'm sure you do, social media. But LinkedIn is really where I have grown an extensive network. And it's not just about the numbers, it's the strategic network that I've built. And the people that are like, hey, 3 years ago, we connected, hey, I've been watching you. I've been following you. I like what you're putting out. I'm ready to hire you. Or, with the city of San Diego, I have a contract now to help a cohort here. And so it's wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Thank you. 3 times a year, I'm helping those small business owners, putting them through some LinkedIn training. But so it's just really, I feel like a higher level platform. So if you're looking for higher level leads, right? High qualified leads. If you're looking to connect with the directors and the presidents and the CEOs, it's definitely the platform that you want to be on. And you guys can do most of the stuff for free. Like, you don't have to pay to get all the benefit out of it, unless you do LinkedIn ads or something.
Right. Who doesn't like
that's
free?
a whole nother topic. And
I have AJ Wilcox coming on my show later this month.
Yes. We need to get him scheduled, Tim.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Did you know that he treadmills during his lives? He was on I's show. When was that? Recently.
Last week.
Yeah. And he's always treadmilling.
I love AJ. I met him at Social Media Marketing as well. And we do a live every year there. He's just such a cool guy. So definitely you guys got to get him on. But so we're going to be talking about branding on LinkedIn today.
Yes, we're going to be talking about branding on LinkedIn. And thank you all for tuning in. Let us know what questions you have for Mary about LinkedIn as we roll along here. Let us know where you are tuning in from. We would love to know that. So Mary, how can we set up our LinkedIn profile so it stands out on the sea, in the sea, all the seas of social media? Need more coffee.
Hey, I haven't had any coffee yet, so we'll see how this goes. I know. I didn't have any coffee yesterday either. So, well, there's a few things that you can do. So everything that I'm going to talk about today, you can do for free. So one of the big questions I get, do I need to pay for it? Absolutely not. Are there some benefits? Yes. But what we're going to talk about is how to set up how to execute your personal brand on LinkedIn. So let's start with some statistics. You have 6 seconds to capture someone's attention. It used to be like 15 seconds, but in today's world, you have 6 seconds. So what does that mean on LinkedIn? That means they're going to see 3 things. They're going to see your background banner, they're going to see your headshot, and they're going to see your headline, or you might call it your title. So those 3 things really need to be on point. So let's start with your background banner. You guys, it's free real estate. Look at that. There's my girl, Mary Rose. So your background banner, you know what? More isn't always better, right, gentlemen? We were just talking about that.
Right.
I'm a firm believer that you don't need your logo in the background banner. I'm a firm believer that in your background banner, it needs to have your company, your brand colors, your brand font if you can, and it needs to have a message. People need to understand, what are you standing for? So my girl, Mary Rose, she's all about working one-on-one with people to really establish their brand. So in a background banner, you guys, it's free real estate. So there's a couple things that you guys can do. So one, if you have a book launch or a course coming out or you're speaking somewhere, what am I going to tell you to do? Advertise that right there in your background banner. It's free real estate. You should also change your background banner at least a couple times a year. So I'm a host, LinkedIn Local San Diego. Mary Rose and I are co-hosts for that. And when we're hosting live events, you guys remember, right? At the beginning of the year when we had live events, right?
When that was the thing.
When that was the thing. So we would create background banners advertising LinkedIn Local San Diego. Come join us. Grab your ticket below. So you can use it to advertise your events, your courses, your book launch, a mastermind group, your live show, your podcast. It's just such a great big space, and it's the first thing people are going to see. So I really feel that in today's world, less is more. Just keeping it simple and clean. And Jim, you said that someone had one that was really clean and you really liked the background banner. Who was that?
Vivica Von Rosen.
Oh, yeah. Tim, hey, Tim. Glad that you're joining us. I saw you in person too.
Yes.
So see how simple and clean that is, but it's on brand with the colors, sales pipeline stuck. So they are the professionals, right? Then Gresso is known to filling your pipeline with sales. Selling with, she puts her hashtag in there, reach your buyer virtually. So this is a new background banner. This is because of COVID, right? Virtually. That's so important. So you also need to think about what's going on in the world right now. If everyone was going to events, or if everyone's live streaming, Tim, you know, maybe yours is all about live streaming.
Right.
So it's showing the setup or something like that. So it's just such a great opportunity to really have your brand stand out with your background banner. And then look, let's just go to the headshot. Let's talk about that. She's smiling. She's looking straight forward. So simple and so important. The ones where people are like, right? No smile.
Yeah.
Is that warm? Is that inviting? Is that welcoming? Maybe that is your brand. I don't know. But, you know, you want to be welcoming and smile, and you also want to just keep it clean, you know. So I have polka dots on today, and I've been told polka dots are not good for your headshot, or probably live, but I like them. So women don't wear polka dots. And then let's just go to the headline. That's a third thing that someone's going to see when they go to your profile. You have, now everybody has, you guys all know, you have 220 characters in your headline, everybody, not just on the iPhone like earlier this year. And she puts helping hashtag sales professionals. I agree with putting some emojis or icons or symbols, whatever you want to call them. You should definitely put those in there because it's scientifically proven that your eyes stop half a second more when there's a symbol or some kind of icon, because your brain has to process it. And we need every half second we can get, right? Because everyone's in a hurry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? So put a couple symbols, arrows, whatever you want to do in there, you know, LinkedIn Live, LinkedIn Learning. So her headline really tells you who she is. It brands her. She's a LinkedIn expert and speaker. Forbes top 20 most influential. And I can vouch for Vivica. She's very influential, right?
Absolutely.
So those are like 3 areas that you just got to make sure that you have on brand. Amy, wait, does Tim live streaming? Just once in a while. But I think, Tim, for you, like that's really your focus now. And that's why it's so important. Has your business changed? Right. Are you doing something different, or are you providing new service? It's time to update your LinkedIn profile and especially your background banner. I see Tim doing something great about remote live producing because it's hot right now. And that's the traffic that you want. So I know you're going to jump right on that after this.
Mary, would you also say with the photos too, what I always tell people, like if you're going to have whatever that headshot is you're using on LinkedIn as a business or a personal brand, be consistent across all platforms and use the same photo?
So thank you, Jim, because the next thing we were going to talk about is content and consistency. And yes, if you look, I have 4 headshots that I use, but it's all taken on the same day. The hair and the makeup is the same. I have a pink shirt and I have a blue shirt, right? But I use those 4 headshots on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, right? You really want to be consistent. You don't want to mix things up. Some people like to change their templates all the time, but then your audience doesn't recognize them. So it's so important to be on brand, even on LinkedIn. You should be consistent with your brand. So get a great template, use that for all your live shows, all your promotion, right? Use the same headshot. You want to be recognizable and identifiable. So let's talk about the content and consistency part. Amy says consistency is her favorite topic. You know, girl, I know it is. So how do you establish your brand on LinkedIn through consistency? Well, people need to know.
Tell us.
I'm going. Thanks for asking, Tim. I'm going to. So
I like this. You're playing host and guest at the same time.
Sorry, you know what?
She's talented.
Oops.
I do the same thing.
Just tell me to be quiet.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's hard. It's hard when you're a host, and yeah. So you guys, you have to be consistent on LinkedIn. That doesn't mean you need to post every day. What I want to talk about is when you're posting and when people can find you, right? You want your audience, you want to train them. That's what you want to do with your brand. So they know bite-sized tips come out on Tuesday, 9 a.m. or 3 p.m. Always 9 a.m. unless I'm lagging. So my audience knows at 9 a.m. every Tuesday, there is going to be a bite-sized tip produced and they can find it. They know that my live show is on Wednesdays as well, so they know to tune in. So it's important to be consistent with your brand. What are you doing? Is it weekly? Daily's too much, you guys. Nobody wants to see you every day. I don't want to see myself every day. But, you know, is it a weekly? Is it a monthly newsletter? Is it a bi-weekly blog? Is it a every other Tuesday live show? What is it that you do consistently? And then brand that when you're promoting it and show up consistently on LinkedIn to establish your brand.
Those are great points, Mary. So you recommend not daily. So how do we figure out the right consistency for our content?
So it should always be quality over quantity. So you have something great to share. Like I just found something great and I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I got to share this because my audience is going to want it, right? They're going to need it. They're going to say thank you. So it's really about quantity in the early days. I don't know if you guys ever did this. Did you think you had to be on every platform every day? Like Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. Like I started like, oh my gosh, I have to be everywhere. But that just doesn't work. All that does is give you a headache and stress and make your brain tired. So, just think quality over quantity. I'd rather see someone put out quality posts twice a week. And obviously we have to fight the algorithm. What is the algorithm? We don't know because LinkedIn changes it all the time. I mean, if you guys know what the LinkedIn algorithm is, go ahead and share it. Tell us all.
Right. For $1 million, we'll share.
For $1 million, right? I mean, there's some things that we can talk about that live video does well. But live video...
It's been interesting too, Mary. I mean, even with LinkedIn Live, I know several people that have it and they've all noticed that live viewing has gone down. Like nobody can explain why.
I don't know either. And I have to agree with that. I think one thing is video with captions does better because even though we're all working from home, you might be on a conference call and you might be like watching. I think these guys are on every platform of the show. High five, Tim, you called him out. So the captioning on video, if you have people that are hard of hearing, right? Or they're on a conference call, that captioning can help your views, go up, increase. But you're right. I don't know what that answer is right now. Remember a couple years ago, you guys, when long texts on LinkedIn were like all the rage, they were getting like thousands, like 10,000 views and stuff because they did the see more, the ... and you'd have to open it up and that counts as a view, right? 3 seconds. If they stay on your post 3 seconds, it counts as a view. Right. So it changes all the time. So earlier this year, live video was getting all the reach and all the engagement. I think it's kind of leveled off. Like you said, Jim, is it because more people are going live? Is it because we're tired of Zooming and live? I don't know. It's the $1 million question.
Right.
I think that's a really good point, though, Mary. Like, here's an example. I have one client that we recently did a live stream, and their video reached more than 5,000 people. And then we took a short clip from that video. It was like a 7-minute clip. And that clip reached 67,000 people, right? Like the live
7-minute clip?
Yeah. And it had high engagement and, so that's a really good point that you guys are talking about live streaming. So I think there's really a huge opportunity, right, for repurposing your content after, whether it's LinkedIn or other platforms, right?
I love repurposing. That's a whole other show or a Zoom call between the three of us.
Well, and Mary, I mean, I also, not just the posting, but I think, and it was part of the social success summit that Agora Pulse just talked on, but a big part too is, right, we need to engage with people and comment on other people's posts. It's not always about us. I think
don't be the looky-loo on LinkedIn, right? That's my thing. So absolutely, Jim. So if you want people to engage with you, shouldn't you be the first and go out there and engage with others? It's not about the numbers on LinkedIn, who has 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 connections. Because frankly, I'd rather have 5,000 people that engage with me every day versus 30,000 that I don't even know. So it is about engagement. I always like to say it's H to H, human to human. There's a person behind the profile. So if you like their content, let them know. Say, hey, Jim, I like that article you put out. You know what? Point number 3, tip number 3 really resonated with me. You know what? Tip number 4, I haven't done. I'm going to give that a try. And I think people overthink when they go, what do I say? So when we do like little pod challenges in my private group and people are like, but I don't know what to say. Don't overthink it. Just type in what you're thinking. Like, I like that tip. Or you can say, hey, you know what? I don't really agree with that. I've tried this And I feel that this works better. And it's okay to disagree in a nice way. You don't have to call anyone out. You can just simply say, hey, I found that this works a little better for me.
Right.
So yeah,
right.
so engagement, it's all about H to H, human to human. It's not a platform where you just shouldn't, for me, Facebook is this. What am I doing? Scroll, scroll,
Right.
scroll, scroll, like, scroll. That's me on Facebook, right? Me on LinkedIn, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting post. Oh my gosh, that's a great tip. And by engaging with people, maybe it's someone that's not in your network already that you're not connected with, but engaging with them, maybe then that leads you to go look at their profile and maybe you connect with them, right? I've gotten so many great connections by reading someone's post, commenting, connecting with them. And then my next step is I always say you got to take your online network offline. Now, back in the day, I would set up coffee meetings or lunch meetings if they were local. But now everything's via Zoom, obviously. But still, oh, thanks, Linda. We need to jump on a call. So what I do now is I set up Zoom meetings just to get to know someone, because you never know where that's going to lead. Like, is that someone you can collaborate with on a project? Is that someone who can become a referral for you and you a referral for them? Is that someone who's like your brand ambassador, right? So we just have to slow down a little, stop being a looky-loo on LinkedIn, level up that engagement, and it doesn't mean you have to go and do 20 engagements a day. Do 5. Comment on 5 posts. Get off Facebook rabbit hole.
Yes. All right, y'all, we're going to take a brief 15-second break for an ad from our amazing live streaming platform we use here, StreamYard, and we will be right back after these messages. But not that, just kidding. And we're back. And man, I use more coffee. I need more coffee today. Today is just not rolling right for me.
Let's do it. Come on.
Anyway, guys, we are back. Mary, one question I get asked a lot is how often should I create LinkedIn articles versus LinkedIn posts? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So LinkedIn articles, they're the long form publishing articles. And I can't talk either, so what you did. They live on LinkedIn forever, right? They're easy for people to find. Posts are not as easy, but posts get way more engagement. So I try to do like an article once a month just to showcase if it's something longer. But if you don't have a need to do that, then don't do that. Again, everyone is different. If you have something in depth that you're going to write about, it probably actually should live on your website. And then you should do a little post about, hey, you can check out the full article over here.
I love that idea. And speaking of StreamYard, sorry, I just wanted to say Dana is here from StreamYard.
Hi, Dana.
Hey, Tim and Tim, woohoo, Coach StreamYard. Sorry to interrupt you, Mary. I just wanted to acknowledge her.
No, I think Dana and I had some emails as well. I love StreamYard. You guys know that.
Yeah.
So what are you getting the most engagement on? Go back and look at it. I just did a post that was all about who I have had Zoom calls and phone calls with, or who who's been on my show, whose shows I've been on this last month. And that wasn't a post selling anything. I'm not promoting anything. I was doing shout outs to specific people that I have gotten on the phone call with, that I've caught up with, that I've partnered up with. And that post got like 5,000 engagements like over the week. And I did it like on a Friday at 5:00.
Wow.
So again, it's just about the post, the content, and what's your audience looking for? I think my audience was looking for a nice, just like the world is still okay post.
Absolutely. I think we all need those.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be all sales. It doesn't need to be all promotion. Throw some human stuff in there. Hey, shout out to the Tim and Jim show for having me on. They are amazing. And StreamYard is the premier streaming platform.
Truth. You hear that, Dana?
Right?
It is.
So we want to thank everyone who's tuning in. We are here with Mary Fain Brandt talking about how to brand yourself on LinkedIn. Christine Grimman is here. She says, ooh, there's commercials now. Now you fancy.
They're very fancy. He's in a studio. Christine, they're very fancy.
That's
I didn't
true.
know it was such a fancy show. I should have like done something with the background.
Well, we made it to 100 episodes, so we figure we have to like keep stepping it up to get to 200.
I like it.
There
Hey, there
you
was
go.
one more place that you guys can brand yourself, Tim
Yeah.
or Jim. We were talking about this. You can actually record your name now.
Yes.
Ooh.
Now, you might not think that's branding, but wouldn't it be great for someone to hit that button and hear your voice? And you have, how many seconds is it? 20?
10.
10. You can say a lot in 10 seconds because I didn't just say my name. So you can say a lot in 10 seconds and you can re-record it. So definitely go on there, record your name so people know how to pronounce it, but you can also do a little branding in there.
Right.
I
So,
love
Or
that
even just say
feature.
hello, right?
or like you said, you say hello. What does yours say?
I think it says, hello, Jim Fuse. Thanks for visiting my profile. Yeah. And
Let's see.
oh, and I could say, and I still have 6 seconds to go. Maybe I'll re-record it.
Well, you better use that. No.
There you go. So what do you think, Jim? Are you going to make any changes to your profile based on this conversation we're having with Mary?
I think I'm going to revamp my header and simplify it a little bit, but also I think focus on some of the things that I've been doing because it's kind of like I told you, a conversation I had with someone, and to Mary's point, people are looking for a few seconds before they scroll down. You may have all this amazing about and experience, but they never get to it because you bored them before they went any further.
Snooze.
And so you have to really, catch their attention from the get-go. And I think that's I'll be curious to see if LinkedIn at some point allows us to upload banner videos.
I was just thinking that. Wouldn't that be awesome? 3 years from now? I mean, not everyone has LinkedIn Live access yet.
Right.
True.
But probably
we'll
at
have
some
stories.
point.
What do you think of LinkedIn stories coming, Mary?
The
curious to
jury is
see.
still out on that. I'm not sold on it. I feel like that is great for like Instagram, Facebook. I'm like, my concern is everything. So the stories goes in your notifications, right? Is that where it shows up? Or as a message. I can't remember. Annette McDonald put me in a story so I could see how it happens. I think it was a notification. I'm like, is that going to flood my notifications? With these little stories. And if people are like, hey, I'm having a cup of coffee, like, I don't need to know about that on LinkedIn. So, it depends on how stories are going to be used. Are you doing a snippet because you're speaking somewhere? I think maybe that's right. I'm cautious.
Yeah, and I think too, Mary, would you say I think one of the things we have to remember, I mean, there's about 675 million people on LinkedIn, but there's a very small percentage that are really active. Like even I think I've heard people that create content on LinkedIn is only about 3%. And I know talking to some of my friends, like they might get on LinkedIn once a week, once a month. So you're putting all this effort into this content that disappears. Is it worth it?
Yeah. So that's why I'm very cautious. I didn't jump on the bandwagon like, yay, LinkedIn stories. I can't wait to use them. I'm like, why would I use them on LinkedIn? LinkedIn is that news feed. It's growing your network. It's the professional platform. I don't need to see someone walking their dog, drinking a cup of coffee, enjoying the sunset, right? Think about what goes in a lot of the stories. So yeah, I don't think I'm a fan, but I haven't seen them. So the jury is out. But I don't want to see my notifications filled up with these short news feeds. I have enough notifications, right? Tim, what do you think? Do you want to use stories on LinkedIn?
I'm not really sure yet.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Like, LinkedIn isn't Facebook or, another platform. It's kind of a unique platform, but at the same time, like you were saying first, kind of about the human first idea, right? So like, does everything have to be like super professional? Like, would stories content maybe
Would it
resonate?
humanize it? And
yeah, humanize the platform
that's
more?
a really good point. I'm just concerned how it's going to be used. Like,
Yeah.
how, I'll see someone and there'll be like 5 stories from them. So yeah,
Right.
it could humanize it. That's a really good point. Maybe it does, bring that human factor to the person behind the profile.
But couldn't we just do a recorded video and upload it and do that too, like with a 2-minute video?
Yeah, that's probably more work. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think that we're gonna find out, because stories, I know. Do you guys don't have stories yet?
Not yet.
No,
So
not yet.
are they in the States yet? Because Annette McDonald has them
I don't know.
down under. But I don't think that they're
I'm
over
not
here
sure.
in the States yet. So time will tell.
Yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mary. Tell people about how they can learn more about you, what you do, website, social, all the things.
Sure. So obviously you can connect with me on LinkedIn, but I do request that you send me a personal note with that. So here's a pro tip. You really want to connect with someone, you need to send them a note with that request to connect, because you have a 53% higher chance of them accepting it. Okay. So for someone that's really active on LinkedIn, like, I'm not going to accept it if I don't know who you are. So just say you saw me on the Tim and Jim show, and then you can learn all about me on my website. It's super easy. MaryFainBrandt.com. If you just Google Mary Fain Brandt, I should come up everywhere. So see, Christine says she has no desire for stories on LinkedIn. And
yeah,
see, Christine, I think I'm with you. I don't think that they belong. They shouldn't try to be Instagram and Facebook. They should be LinkedIn. Office behind the scenes. We'll just do a video.
Yes. Well, and
There you go.
I think that's a great point. It's like, why do these platforms feel like they all have to like copycat each other? I mean, even right now, you could make the argument that Reels is because of TikTok, but is it going to make really that big of a difference? I think at some point, it's like, stick with what works. I think it's kind of like the whole Andrew and Pete, the 90-10 rule. Stick with that one thing that you're good at and quit trying to be everywhere.
Everywhere, all the time, for everyone. Yeah. So maybe LinkedIn will listen to us. I don't know.
Mary, are you doing anything soon that people might want to check out, and so they can become better educated?
Well, thanks for asking. I'm actually in the process of a small rebrand myself. So coming this fall, yes, there's some big news coming out, probably November. So some new services that we're launching. But like Tim, I do remote live producing. I do LinkedIn training, really moving into the social selling space. So really looking to get into corporations and sales team. I really want to help sales teams generate leads on LinkedIn, and how to do it in that non-icky salesy way, right? There's a right way, in my opinion, and a wrong way. Don't be the used car salesman.
That's it. That's it. Thank you, Mary. Next week, we will have Amber Griffiths on the show. Create your own path and legend status. It begins with your persona.
Nice.
They say, Tim.
What do they say, Jim?
Alabama University is where legends are made.
Well, there you go. On that note, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Jim. Thank you all for tuning in, and see you next week again for another episode of the Tim and Jim Show. Bye, y'all.
Everyone. Ciao.